I'm doing that I'm really excited about is bringing this work to a sexually invisible population. That is Asian American men. It's personal for me because I've known men like this all my life who are victims, hapless victims of a white supremacy system that excludes them and neuters them while hypersexualizing other races in order to keep the pool of women for themselves being white men. So if Asian men are neutered and emasculated and have zero masculine representation or sexual representation in media and in culture, and Black and Latino men are hypersexualized into rapists, then everybody is scared off. All the women are available to white men. So Asian men aren't the only sexually invisible population. There are many others. But this is where I think that I can help change the balance and fight white supremacy, white sexual supremacy, and bring an invisible group into the sexual playing field that they didn't have access to, and give women a bigger choice of awesome men, which is what we want. So it kills 10 birds with one stone. And I want to help these guys get into the game, a game that they've never been included in, and they wonder why. But there's so many reasons that how they're excluded, why they're excluded, and they just blame themselves. This thing that I just wrote, it's called the myth of the Asian nice guy. The nice guy myth is pervasive in masculine culture. You have the nice guy versus the asshole, and the truth is that most men are neither nice guys nor assholes. Okay? They're human beings, but they are not allowed to have their full range of emotions. They are instead cultured to be nice guys because nice guys are easily controlled. They're cultured to seek approval and avoid somebody's disapproval, no matter if it's a teacher or a boss or a spouse. If you're always doing that, you can't be a full human being. Okay? So there's number one, just recognizing that there is the nice guy persona that men are often shuttled into. And the asshole persona is something that mostly white guys are allowed to adopt and encouraged to adopt. Asian men have a particular kind of nice guy problem because their families also want them to be obedient, small, not troublemakers, because Asian culture in America has been allowed to be a model minority aligned with whiteness. The catch is that you have to just give up everything about yourself. As an Asian, you also have to give up, if you're a man, your entire sexuality. And then you can be allowed to make the money and rise up socially to a certain degree. But as we see with COVID, when push comes to shove, Asians are not in the white club. They are excluded from the white club. And Donald Trump makes that very obvious. So that model minority is also a myth. And the Asian nice guy is also a myth. Asian men are incredibly diverse in their interests and their sense of power and humor and their penis size and their love lives and their intellectual lives and their hearts. But there's no representation for them to see the diversity and embrace that in themselves. They are invisible, and they become invisible to themselves. Few Asian sex and relationship coaches and I are working with a group of Asian men to start the education process. It's like an unlearning and a retraining process. And like a lot of people, when you first point it out to them, they don't want to believe it. It's so painful. It's so painful that the first thing that gets erased from them is their sexuality. And it gets erased by their own families and by this culture that says one thing and does another. And they try to fight it. But then they start seeing in their own lives the truth of it. The fact that they're not able to go after any kind of woman that they want. They play it safe. They will try to date Asian women they've known for a long time. Instead of any color, any age, any type. No one has ever taught them how to do that, how to play in the sexual field. And we're going to teach them how to do that. Elegant Kung Fu. That's what I'm going to contribute to this world. And that's going to be how I fight racism.